When Olivia first moved into the old house on the outskirts of town, she relished the solitude. The forest behind her new home was dense and untouched, a sanctuary of peace compared to the bustling city she had left behind. But it didn't take long for the serenity to curdle into something far more sinister. It started with the sensation of being watched. At first, it was a fleeting feeling, a tickle at the back of her neck that she dismissed as paranoia. But as the days passed, the feeling grew stronger, more insistent. It was as if the forest had eyes that followed her every move. One night, unable to sleep, Olivia sat on her porch, staring out into the black void of the woods. The full moon bathed the landscape in an eerie silver light, casting long, twisted shadows. She squinted, trying to make out the shapes in the darkness, when she saw them, two glowing orbs peering back at her from the edge of the trees. They were unmistakable, like the eyes of some predatory animal, yet too high off the ground to belong to any creature she knew. Her breath hitched, heart pounding in her chest. The eyes didn't blink or move, just stared unrelenting. She quickly retreated inside, bolting the door behind her. But the image of those eyes haunted her thoughts. They returned every night, appearing at the same spot, always watching, always waiting. Olivia tried to tell herself it was just a trick of the light, a figment of her imagination. But deep down, she knew something was wrong. Driven by a mix of fear and curiosity, Olivia decided to investigate. Armed with a flashlight, she ventured into the woods one night, her hands trembling as she approached the spot where the eyes usually appeared. The forest was unnervingly silent, the only sound her own footsteps crunching against the dry leaves. When she reached the place, she shone the flashlight around, its beam cutting through the thick darkness. But there was nothing. No eyes, no creature, just trees and shadows. Relief washed over her, but as she turned to leave, she heard it, a low, guttural growl coming from behind. She spun around and the flashlight flickered, casting erratic beams of light. The growl grew louder, closer, and the beam finally settled on something that made her blood run cold. Standing there just a few feet away was a tall, humanoid figure. Its skin was a sickly pale, almost translucent, and its face, it had no face. Just a smooth, featureless expanse where its eyes should have been, except for those two glowing orbs embedded deep within its flesh. The creature lunged and Olivia stumbled backward, dropping the flashlight. In the darkness, she could feel it closing in on her, its presence suffocating. She screamed. The sound swallowed by the night and ran blindly through the trees, branches tearing at her clothes and skin. When she finally burst out of the woods and into the safety of her home, she slammed the door shut and collapsed against it, gasping for breath. But the sense of relief was fleeting. She knew the creature was still out there, lurking in the shadows, waiting for her to return. And as she peered out the window, she saw them again, those eyes in the dark, glowing with a malevolent hunger that promised they wouldn't be satisfied until they had her. The forest was no longer a sanctuary. It was a prison, and she was its prey.